Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm audible.
Good morning. Yes, you're audible.
Yes, yes. You're audible,
Hello,
Shweta.
Sachin. Okay, ma'am. Participants, please join. This one query to chat. Saksham sir, can we do a audio and video check?
Yes. Hi. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect.
Could you
Morning,
please share your screen?
Morning.
Saksham.
Yeah. Hi. Hi.
We wanted to see you in person, but like you understand, after 3 days, we have given this because there were some infrastructure limitations and all. So we thought to be more seamlessly conducting the sessions, thought we'll take you online. I think it will be nice.
Sure, sure. Yes, yes. Why not? It's all digital anyways. AI is a very digital topic. It's be digital
Yeah.
first. Yes.
So yours is the last session, technical session in a sense.
Mhm.
So look forward for your interactive things.
Sure.
We are just waiting because today is Sunday also, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
take usually a little more time.
Sunday
So
mornings are always difficult.
okay, okay. We'll ask you to join.
Yeah, sure, sure. I'll wait.
Sir, can you please share your screen once?
Sure, I'll
We'll just.
check that as well. Yes. Just a second. I will have to rejoin the call. Just give me a second for my permission. Yeah.
I hope everyone is able to access the quiz. In case of any query and question, please raise your hand or maybe you can unmute yourself.
In fact, once they should show their faces at least at the
Yeah,
time of
please.
group photograph. You can just in advance, you can make them like give them some kind of information that at the end of this session, we are going to have one group photo with all the things. And so people will be ready.
Is my screen visible? I just want to check.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
Okay, fine. Good.
It's also AI created, I believe, right? The picture.
The image, yes. Yes. Let me know when to start off. We're still waiting.
At 9:40.
Okay, sure.
Shweta,
Yes,
only
ma'am.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. 9:40. I
Yes,
think.
ma'am.
Okay, we'll start that
Sure.
because daily it is happening like this only. 9:35 or like that.
Yeah, sure.
You must be using AI a lot, Saksham.
Yes, actually, I mean, I develop applications with AI, and even for my use case, like daily work, I do use AI.
Yes, yes.
It's quite a lot. Makes
And
life easier.
I remember you have developed about that hiring app also, no? Once.
Yes,
Like,
yes, yes.
so that is
I
working.
have my I have my own AI hiring agent that conducts complete end-to-end screening process from resume screening, conducting interviews, creating scores, reports, everything it does.
So companies are using it.
Companies are using it, yes.
Oh,
So
very nice, very
I have
nice.
some companies in Bangalore, they are using it for their
Okay,
hiring.
okay,
Yes, yes, yes.
very nice.
So
And what
it's
about educational institution? I don't think education.
education institution, we tried actually for some of their teacher hirings, but hasn't picked up as much yet.
Yeah,
Corporates are more easily adopting it.
and yes, that's true. In fact, that's also governance and application execution side of challenge, I will say, because
Hmm.
I was part of that. See, in government sector, I will say, or even private sector, private higher education institution where I
Hmm.
have experience. See, they need our shortlisting. Shortlisting can be done by yourself, I think, with this app. But then they take in-person presentations and then
Hmm.
personal interview, and
Hmm.
they don't mind spending more time also. So especially if MNIT, we say it's more than 1 year one is going on.
Hmm. Hmm.
So how do you see that like it is addressing all those issues if
So the idea is, see, of course, at the end, I also think that without, if you want to really hire someone, you need to have an in-person
in
discussion,
person?
or at
Correct.
least have a direct call without having spoken to the person yourself.
Hmm.
Any position or any kind of situation cannot be hired for. But the problem is not that. The problem that we are trying to address is actually before, right? So like, the moment when you have, let's say, an opening in mind, or you want some position that you're looking for candidates.
Hmm.
Nowadays, there is a lot of candidates that might want to join. And
Correct,
the
correct.
problem is how from those 100 or 200 or 500 people, how do I know, okay, these are my 10 that I actually want to have spend time with?
Hmm.
Because that is where you want to spend your time, not in speaking with all 100 and then figuring out who
Yes,
to
yes,
speak with
yes.
finally.
Uh,
So this is where what we say that let our AI do that. Let our AI
hmm.
figure out that out of these, whatever 100, 500, these are your 10, these are your 50 that you really should concentrate on. Then
Correct.
your effort only, is spent there. So because the
So,
value
but
of our effort is more.
so you mean to say this is shortlisting? Till shortlisting, it can
Yes,
help. But
yes,
like,
yes.
do you find any kind of challenge till shortlisting also?
So in shortlisting, I think it's been fairly great. It just we say that's like AI, right? You need to AI is also like your HR or like your employee or like your colleague. You need to describe properly what you want. So
Yes,
people
yes,
think that
yes.
let AI figure out everything. That's not going to happen. You have to tell AI exactly who you are looking for. Then only AI can screen and shortlist for you properly. People
Yeah,
don't describe, in detail that okay, these are my criteria. So we always
correct.
encourage and we even train them that this is how you can describe better, then it will produce more effective results, right?
Hmm.
Mm.
So like
So
all parameters and the
and
minor
yes,
things should also
yes,
be there further
yes, yes,
for
yes. We have, I
inclusion.
mean, we have developed a three-stage process just for AI screening as well. So there's
Uh,
at each stage you can define your criteria, your parameters, and AI will definitely look. And that is where I feel AI does a better job sometimes because as humans, even if we have, let's say, 10 parameters in mind, but if we start looking at 100 resumes, it is very difficult to be consistent across. We might develop some bias, we might feel tired on some resume, we might, deflect our attention, then we might lose that. AI will
so,
do
but
that diligently.
yeah, but the another question, it's like the
Hmm.
trend in corporate and private organization is that they just call for the CV,
Hmm.
resume, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
everybody create their resume in different way. So
Yes.
initially, when people used to take see in person, so they used to get the impression like what kind of person is this, even if he is not making resume properly. So
Mhm.
that was the other thing. So do
Yes.
you like train them like
So what
before?
we do with our AI is that's why we have a three-stage process. One is just looking at the resume initially to see whether they are a fit or not. Then in the second stage, we actually evaluate the resume in detail, more in depth, trying to understand each criteria, checking. Then third stages are actually in person, like the AI in-person interview. So
Hmm.
the AI will conduct a video interview with the
Oh,
candidate,
yes,
and
I was
you
there
you
for.
had done one interview like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So there we are also looking at, one, of course, the questions are all dynamic. So it
Hmm.
is depending on the candidate real-time answers. And then second, we also look at their behavioral insights. So that
Hmm.
is where we try to sort of simulate the experience of what an HR would look at. Not only their answers, but how they are responding, whether they were confident throughout the interview, whether they were very nervous, they were not
Hmm.
even able to speak properly to the screen, where they were
Correct.
looking all the time. All those small things we also try to understand to just understand their overall personality as well.
Okay.
So those are insights we give to the recruiter.
So then, like at final stage, there is provision of in-person interview, right?
Yes, yes. So then you have all your results in front of you on your dashboard that let's say 100 of people came, how many interviewed, how many, and what their score was, what their report is. So now you can even watch their video recordings to see that, okay, how they
Yes.
spoke. So
So now,
now instead of spending, let's say 1 hour with one candidate, you spend 5 minutes watching their videos, you get a gist already, right?
so
And now
have you,
when you
yeah,
call them
have you
in.
approached to the government agencies for this?
Some, yes, we are working with some agencies, not
Because that
everyone,
will
but yes.
cover a lot of
Mm.
a lot of
Yes, yes. The
institutions.
government has a problem with saying that they use AI for their hiring. Yet,
Yeah, but then
they
slowly, I
they are
think it will work.
it's a slow adoption. Yes,
Yes,
yes. They
yes.
can't always claim because they're like, what if people backfires? People
Yeah.
start questioning how did the AI make the judgment?
So first they have to get trained, then only they will understand now what it is.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
now I'll stop it. Shweta, you can start.
Thank you, sir. It was a very insightful discussion and very critical questions that you have asked. In the past 7 days, we are also struggling with these questions like biases and how AI is ethically we have to use it. So yeah, it set the tone for the session.
In fact, like I would love to add, now this is giving me insight that I should have given one session because most of the participants are researchers and the faculty, and they are going to use this kind of thing, like CV and all this. So like how AI can help in developing resume for an individual. So that see, there are so many things which we have to learn. Once we understand like the usefulness of this and ethical aspects, then it can be very easy. So good, Shweta, you started with this statement. Okay.
Hello everyone, we are starting our today's session titled as Democratizing Skills with Gen AI, conducted by Mr. Saksham Gupta. I'll introduce sir. He is a technology leader and social entrepreneur whose work bridges the industrial engineering, AI and social impact. He is also the alumnus of the KIT Germany. He began his career with the Daimler, Daimler AG on the Industry 4.0 digital transformation before returning to India to apply technology for the social good. So, as a director, as a CamTech associate, he led the projects with UNDP, UNICEF, and creating a digital ecosystem that empowered community. Further, he led Meri Life platform launched by PM Modi in 2013, which engaged over 46 million citizens. Uh, it has created a very social impact on the ground. He is also founder of the EduBuild Technologies, an AI startup building innovations in education, employment, and governance, and has been honored with awards such as Youth Leader Award, Business Icon Award, UNDP's Youth Collab Prize. And internationally, Saksham sir has represented India at major global platforms, including World Youth Development Forum, Indo-German Business Leaders Program, and Open Area AI Dove Day. So welcome you, sir, on the behalf of MNIT and AICT Academy. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shweta. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, let me share my screen and maybe begin. Yes, is my screen visible now?
Yes.
Okay, and just before I actually start, I wanted to see who all are there today and maybe get a feel because I wanted this to be a very interactive session. to discuss with you, because I am not, I've heard from also, Shweta, Nidhi, that you have already had a lot of theoretical discussions this week. So my session has to be, I'm trying to make it as practical and useful for you, because like Shweta said, just to give you some context about my background, I am a mechanical engineer. So I am very far away from IT and digital technologies, but yet here I am working on AI, working on technologies. So I feel like I always think that if I, who comes from a very core engineering background, can adopt technology, so you guys, who are also in research and social sector, can do as well. It's not technology is not that complicated. I think even though maybe developers and software coders would like make it sound very complex, it is not that complex. It is quite easy when you try to look at the roots of it. Right. So that's why today's session, I want to make it very useful and very practical. So whoever is possible can speak up today, maybe can unmute themselves, just say hi so I know who's there and maybe I can interact with.
Yeah, that will
Just
be
really request.
that
So
will
yeah,
be
over
great.
to you.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Prerna. Yeah, good
Hi,
morning.
hi, Dr. Meena. Yes, great.
Please start one by one so that like he can understand who all are there and what kind of interaction is required.
Yes. Even if you can't turn on video, just unmute and say hi. That'll be great as
Yes,
well.
please introduce yourself, Prerna.
Yeah, sure. That'll be very helpful.
Somebody. So we start with like Shweta, Maha, Klavisha, at least team member.
Yes, I think Prerna, you just said hi. Hi, Meg. I saw you as well.
Hi, I'm Mehak and I'm a research scholar in my 10th semester presently. I'm a part-time scholar here. And yes, keen to hear to your session. The previous session have been really nice, touching upon from ethical side to how to use AI apps and some prompt related things that we have discussed till now. So really waiting for your session to start.
Thank you. Thanks, Meg. Yes.
Anybody else?
Hi, Saksham. This is Labisha. And funnily enough, that I'm reading that it's democratizing skills with Gen AI. And 2 days back, somebody gave us an exercise on Gen AI, and we couldn't find Gen AI. And we were like looking at like, okay, does this mean Gemini, or did we like did someone misspeak? So like just like basic stuff, as basic as like just knowing that Gen AI, what is it? And being comfortable with this would like help us maybe not look dumb in other settings where AI is going to be used massively. So really excited to just be
Sure.
part of this. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Labisha. Yes.
Anybody else? Naz, Dr. Suresh, are you there?
Yes, madam. Namaste. Good morning.
Namaste.
And
Morning.
this is a very interesting topic. This democratizing skills with GNI. We'll be looking forward to listen and update ourselves on Gen AI, because now this is the era of AI, and so we are basically expecting from you a lot on this particular topic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. I'm
Hi.
Naz.
Morning.
Yeah,
Naz.
even I'm looking forward to the session because like yesterday's session of Surbhi ma'am was also really insightful. So even I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, pretty excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Naz.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Sachin this side. I'm a research scholar of political science. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this session of democratization skills with the JNI. So it would be excited to attend this session. Thank you.
Thanks.
In fact, that's true. Democratizing should start with this group first. Then the extension will be there. Everybody should be aware. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. True.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So maybe I'll start off. Thanks.
I think,
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. So I hope Mehak, Naz, Sachin, you guys are participative also in the session. And yeah, looking forward to hearing your thoughts as well as we go. So introducing the topic again, democratizing skills with Gen AI. Like you said, Gen AI, generative AI, that's the common terminology which has sort of coined off since 2023, since when OpenAI decided that let's make this great technology public. And that is, I think, what drove the whole transformation of all firms, Google, Facebook, Meta, racing towards pushing more and more frontier technology out there. And I think that's where the transformational shift happened, where AI was not really a technology which is new. It has been out there since maybe 80s, 90s, or even before. Uh, it's all subset of machine learning, but making the technology accessible to the public is what really, I think, made a big shift. And this is the shift maybe in the coming 10 years, 15 years, we'll really be talking about that there was an inflection point that happened in 2023, right? So, and the other big thing that I also maybe I introduce this every time, that the hottest new programming language now is actually English, right? It is no longer your Java, Python, or I don't know, Node.js or whatever, C Sharp, C++. We knew all these technologies from day one, but now and that is where the democratization part plays a big role. English is a language where all of us can communicate, and not just English, any language that we can all communicate. LLMs by nature, or what when you talk about generative AI, so the technology powering them is large language models, right? And the core is that they are able to understand our language, natural language, in the easiest way, right? So whether we speak Hindi, whether we speak English, French, Spanish, whichever language we can speak, they have been trained on our data and they are able to decipher it, understand it very naturally, very easily. And that is what makes this technology so accessible to everyone. Moving on. So the other thing that I feel with what has happened with generative AI is that, early on, let's say even 5 years or 10 years back, there were people who spent, I don't know, they're back in my school, or even when maybe, your school days, we all were very excited about when Photoshop had come around. We would all spend so much time learning Photoshop, right? Learning Flash, learning how to, make those small edit changes. Now, if you look at, there were, back then there were those experts. There was an expert in Photoshop. There was an expert in CorelDRAW. They might not be by profession designers, like they might not have the inner design skills, but they were very good at that software. So we called that as a skill, right? You were good at. We used to say that in our resume. Even people write, okay, we are skilled in Photoshop. Now, come to today, do you need to be a skilled, like it's a question for everyone, anyone who wants to answer. Do you still think that do we need to be skilled in Photoshop today? Do you think that is necessary now, or is that already an obsolete skill? Anyone wants to answer that?
No.
No, right? So it's not required anymore, right? So that is where I feel, the shift has happened, right? Like you can look at so many other skills already which are no longer needed. Now you can just go to any generative AI. If you have been reading the news, there is this new banana model from Gemini. And you can create like professional, you can just upload a selfie from your phone and you can ask, can you create a professional headshot for me? And maybe change the background, dress me in a suit. It can do that in like 10 seconds. Cut to like 5 years before, you would have to spend, I don't know, a whole day in Photoshop struggling through that and still not be able to get such level of professionalism in the kind of image you created. So now the idea is not that who can use Photoshop. The idea is who knows what they want. What is the end result that I'm looking for, right? So I need to be able to describe that end result. And that is where democratization really has happened. Now if someone has spent 10 years studying Photoshop, he and me are no longer like apart. We are at the same stage. The only difference is now, is my creativity there? Can I visualize what the end result I want to be there? And that is where the difference is, right? So no longer we need to be experts of a specific technical skill. We just need to know how to use that technical skill and what is the end result that we can envision. If we know that thought process, then we can use AI to get there. We don't need to learn technically, spend, I don't know, 1 year reading a manual and, learn that skill by hand anymore. So this is where I think it is making it accessible. It is making us equal. It also is a very big change that I think we need to think about and already start planning. But this is where I feel a big change is coming, and this is where the democratization really is happening. It's making us all equal in a way, which was not possible before 5 years, 10 years, definitely not accessible. Uh, so moving on to my topic of today's agenda. Today, since you all are, PhD scholars in the research background as well, I wanted to touch upon some practical skills that might come useful to you. So, and maybe run you through those steps throughout the session. So one topic that I thought was, my voice is echoing. I think maybe someone's mic is doing that. If you can just check. Yeah. So the topic that one thing that I wanted to do was that, I don't know if you have come across before, sometimes Excel files, which are very big, very massive data sets. Maybe, you guys are researchers on regular basis. You might download some data on maybe, from public data sets. And these data sets are quite complicated, that are quite large. So how do we clean any of those complex data set using AI, right? If you manually want to look at, even open an Excel file, which is maybe 200 MB, your laptop is going to crash. So, how do we make that easy with AI is something that I want to touch upon. How when you talk about data, of course, a lot of times you want to plot charts, you want to create a dashboard to visualize the numbers, visualize the stats that you have. How can you do that without, because you need some level of programming to be able to do that, to even create, let's say, a Power BI dashboard, for example, something that you might been familiar with. But how do you cut down that time and make this very easy just with AI is again something that I want to talk about. How can we create a website? You guys are social researchers. You might want to have a portfolio website. How can you maybe create a portfolio website? And I'm going to do that all today, just in the span of, I don't know, 30 minutes. So you can actually see and run it, and to make you show you that it's not that difficult anymore. And for fun, for the last part, which is going to be a participative thing for hands-on, we'll just create a fun education game, again using AI, and we'll play that game live with all of us. I think that will be fun for everyone, and that might show you the power that already exists in our hands today. So my introduction, Shweta already covered. So just wanted to share that I did my engineering from Germany, but even though I am a mechanical engineer, I sort of drifted to, technology, to AI. AI since 23, I've been hands-on working with AI myself. I started a little bit coding myself, learning how to use these AI tools, technologies, and that is how I hired a team, and we started working on more AI projects. So that's what I've been doing. And I was very fortunate to also visit, at the OpenAI Dev Day, I met Sam Altman. That was a very great opportunity. So I've been part of the community now and been trying to work more in this area and see what I can, do with AI. So now starting with the first session, which for first workshop that I have, which is basically how do we clean data? How do we create dashboards from big data? So I took up a case study that I thought might be relevant here. Maybe some of you already know what is PLFS dataset. Can anyone who knows what is PLFS data maybe share some insights on what you understand, what is there? I'm open to listening. So anyone who knows what PLFS is would like to maybe enlighten us.
Like a periodic labor force survey data.
Yes.
So, time to time, the Government of India basically publishes this PLFS data, and it is basically available in R and Stata also. But this coding is very difficult, and that actually needs expertise to actually extract the data and do the analysis.
Correct. Exactly. So this is exactly where I thought let's maybe take this data set. So I recently had come across this hackathon, which was on how do we use this PLFS data set? How do we analyze, from the data set, women's employment patterns in India? That was their problem statement. It was a 250 MB data set that they gave, which maybe 2 lakh rows were there. And like you said, it is all cryptic codes, right? There is a very complex structure, and I am not from a social science background. So when I looked at it, for me, it was very, very complex. Everything was 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, something, some numbers. Even the titles are all crypted. And it is not so easy if you just look at, first of all, just opening the Excel file, maybe it can crash your system because it's a 250 MB Excel file. It's massive. So the first thought that comes to our head is that, hey, this is very difficult. I don't know, it might take weeks to even first decode it and actually start making sense of that data, right? How do we even extract meaningful data from that? Because it contains a lot of empty null values, values that don't mean much. Because when you survey so many people, not always all data is consistently good. So how do we fetch that? How do we take that relevant data from it? So a lot of these questions is what you tend to think about. So I want to take this case study and I want to see how we can use AI to analyze it. I want to show you guys how this could be done in a simpler way. I am not from a social sector background, but I want you to understand my steps, and then I want you to really replicate them at your own, and actually use your knowledge to create even something more meaningful, right? Because the data, your use cases, and that could not only be for a PLFS case study, it could be for any, let's say, data set that you can apply these skills anywhere. So what I'm going to be working on is how do you prompt effectively? How do you run those Python scripts that, let's say if AI generates a Python script, how do we run that? You might think that, hey, I don't know Python, I don't know coding, but so maybe it's not that difficult. And that's what I'm going to show you, how easy these things are. So we'll go through a complete workflow of understanding the data, cleaning the data, analyzing and plotting a dashboard, right? And then seeing how that dashboard looks like in real time. So that was the challenge that we had, bridging employability gaps as part of the hackathon. I'll just show you a little bit about that as well. What I had received as part of the challenge was of this 250 MB Excel file, a lot of 2 lakh plus survey records in that Excel, a lot of around 99 columns with a lot of cryptic names and coded data, and a lot of documentation, like more than 300-page instruction manuals to decode these meanings, right? Like, so what column represents what kind of data, what does each of the coded numbers inside the data set mean? So let me share quickly so you have an understanding. Just 1 second. Yes. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, great. So just to touch upon the problem statement, right? So this was the problem statement. I'm opening the real hackathon problem statement so you guys have a look. I'm going to just quickly run through it. This was the problem statement that, women across India, there's a big employability gaps, and they want to understand that through the PLSI data set. These are the data and features they want to focus on: demographic variables, age, gender, religion, social group, education level, form of training received, labor force participation rate across these sectors, across these variables, what kind of employment, formal, informal sector, what kind of hours, what is the social economic indicators like household income, household size and type. So the idea was, how do we analyze these factors through the data set? The other things that they had shared, this is what they had shared with us: data and data dictionary. So if I try to show you the user guide, so this was the user guide, that these are the indicators in the annual reports. What is the concept of each of the indicator? Household, usual consumer expenditure, household type, explaining each of the concepts. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, just to give you a glimpse of what the problem we had received. And looking at the problem, I'm going to show you how we can come to a quick solution, right? So there's a lot of text here that describes activity status, each of the variables that are there inside that data set. Then these instruction manuals that, hey, okay, these are the instructions they gave to the field staff who conduct the survey. There they understand that if let me scroll down to something relevant. So for example, what are the statums, or let's say what are the sample size. So a lot of, these figures, you will see. I mean, now again, this is a 135-page manual. So if I have to sit down, annotate each page, read down, it might take me a long time to understand every single thing. So even rural areas, household types, these are the different values in urban and rural areas, right? These are all now coded in a very different way. So if I have to show you the Excel file, that's what I had that open here as well. So this is the data set that I had received, right? You can see there's a lot of values, there's a lot of data, and it's all 1, 2, 3, 4, something for each religion, household type, household size, household number, state, everything is coded, right? So I have to essentially, to even start making sense of the data, I have to first decode it, to change these numbers to actual values, to even start making sense of it. Their general education, technical education, number of years of formal education, vocational education, their type of activity, the NIC, NCO codes. There's a lot of data which is here. You can see that if I go scroll right, there's like maybe 90 columns and 2 lakh entries. I kept it open because if I open it live, it might even crash my system. So how do we start making sense of this data now, right? What is the starting point? So that is where we can start using AI, to bridge that gap. And I'm going to show you how exactly we can do that. So the first things that, traditional research is that maybe I need a programmer who can, write the code, write the script to clean this data. It might take me weeks or months. Maybe we can't afford expensive programmer or a data analyst software, or I don't understand these codes. But what if AI could do all those things, right, and bridge that gap? And that is what we are going to try to do today. So step one, of course, is how do we understand the problem statement, right? So I showed you the hackathon objective was to understand and map the employment gaps of women in rural and urban India. Maybe there could be some key research questions. Now these are just for example, might vary based on the kind of research that you want to conduct, right? Then comes about how do we map the data. So we saw in that what were the demographics variables that we wanted. So we understood that we need the age, education, social group, marital status, rural urban classification, work status, industry, occupation, household type. Those are the kind of data variables we needed from that large Excel file, right? So there are some ways to go about it. When maybe if a lot of data is overwhelming, I feel this is where you can start slow. You can start by asking AI to help you even make sense of the problem before you start jumping into how do I solve it, right? And how that could look like is where I want to maybe start now. And I already showed you the data monster. So that was the big Excel file where we might be struggling, right? So now how could we go about it? So we could go about maybe describing what we have with us. Maybe 250 MB Excel file is something that I might not be able to pass to ChatGPT or even to any other AI because it might be too big even for its own context. So what could you do? Maybe you could, just take some sample data from it, maybe just the 100 rows, and create a new Excel file from it and upload that Excel file to ChatGPT and try to ask, okay, that I have this data set and with so many records and with so many column names, can you help me understand what each column would mean, what these coded values might represent? If you have some documentation, like in our case, we had some instruction manuals. So what I did is I'll try to show you. This is what I did. I'll open my chat because I've done this before. So I'm just going to show you how I ran through and what it generated. So you can actually see and understand. And this was done a while back when GPT-5 was not even available. So the amount of effort, even with prompting it took me, now it should take you like maybe 1/10 of that already. This is how advanced these models become every time. So this is what I had, right? I told it that, hey, I'm participating in this hackathon. I'm providing with the files with the problem statement, with the guides, with the instruction manuals, everything. Can you analyze everything and help me understand the problem statement? What is expected? So this is the first step where I'm not trying to come at a solution. I'm just trying to understand what is the problem statement. What are we trying to do here? What could be a solution, right? that we can propose for the hackathon, given that we wanted to also do this in a short time frame, is what I told AI. So it understood and analyzed all these PDF files, and these are already 200, 300 page PDF files altogether, right? So it understood that, hey, this is the problem statement we are working on. This is the key focus area. These are the data insights that we need to focus on. And these are maybe could be the expected deliverables that we could analyze the trends. We could maybe do some predictions. We could build some visualizations. And based on that, we could create some actionable insights, right? It also gave me some potential solution of how I could run through. What could be the steps that I could use. I'm going to skip through that. It also suggested that these are the technologies that I could use. So then what I did, I went ahead, I focused that let me share with it. Like I said, I created a data sample from that big Excel file. I took a small sample of maybe 100 rows only. So I uploaded that small sample. I uploaded the dictionary that it gave. I also uploaded those manuals again to revise that, hey, this is the data. And these are the, other files where you can help to make sense of the columns which are there. So these are all the data is coded, captured. Just refer to that instruction manual, try to find that code and try to understand what it means, right? So from that, it started understanding. And now you can see that it pictured and picked up relevant columns that it thought that these are the ones which are relevant for our analysis based on the code book, based on the data description. So demographics, education level, vocational training level, activity status, workplace location, industry occupation, income and household characteristics. It identified all those elements, and it also identified, okay, what are some columns that it thinks are not relevant in this case for our data, right? So then it said that, okay, we could go for like data population. So now after that, what would I need, right? Now I know, okay, these are the values that I want in my data, but I again don't know the codes. I don't know what a household or what a rural or urban means, what each state means, right? Because each state has a different code. What a district mapping could mean, what a gender could mean, what the social group codes could mean, what marital status codes could mean. So I said that, hey, can you help me identify the numeric codes from the manual, right? And don't leave anything behind. So it went ahead. You can see it generated based on that. It read the manual codes and it gave me all the codes that what each code meant for general education, for technical education, for vocational training, for employment and activity status. Sorry, if anyone wants to come in.
चलाओ बंद क्या करी बुआ जी बंद कर दी गलत बात है
Think someone has to put their mic on mute. And by the way, if anyone wants to come in and ask any questions throughout, please just raise your hands or just ping me in between, because I can't see you, any of you, so I don't know if you want to say something or ask me a question. So please feel free. It's an open discussion. I'll try to walk you through the steps. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So this is the ChatGPT of which version you are using?
This is the standard ChatGPT. I was using 4.0 back then.
I mean ChatGPT Pro or what?
This is the plus, but even in the standard ChatGPT you can do this. I have purchased ChatGPT Plus for my own use case, but you can do this with the normal ChatGPT also. Even if you don't want to purchase it, for example. And this was done before when only 4.0 was available. Now you have 5 even in the default version, which is even more advanced. It could do a lot more actually directly, right?
So you mean to say 4.0 is freely available? 4.0?
Now I think 4.0 is an older version, ma'am. So now 5 is also freely available directly.
Okay.
GPT-5, which is the newer version. Yes. So you can all like this same can be followed even with the GPT-5.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the codes, right? These are the codes it generated. You can see everything it has captured. There are certain in this even NIC NCO codes were available. So that it has not yet captured, but we'll see how we address that as well. Household characteristics, everything is gotten covered, right? so then I said that, okay, now we have all this information, but I still have 99 columns. So how do I know which ones to really work on, right? I still want to only focus on specific data, right? So what I did was that I gave it all the column names, and I asked it to, hey, okay, now help me focus on which, now you already know the codes. Now let's focus on the relevant columns and let's use that this is the data we would want to extract now, because I'm still trying to build what data should we extract from that and decode, so that we can, even before proceeding to analysis, we need to have clean data, right? So based on that, it again fetched, okay, so these are the relevant columns that we should focus on, and these are the columns which are maybe not relevant anymore, right? So that is how I went through to make sure. My idea was that I don't want any of those codes to be missed out. I don't want any of the relevant columns to be missed out. Now comes the second part, right? Now comes that, oh, I know my data, I know my structure, I know my codes, right? I know what data I need to focus on. This is where now we can start creating the code for extracting the relevant data, and also decoding that data, and we can do that all in one step, right? And this is what I want to show, how we can do that. So I think we've already covered all of this. So now we want to basically create a Python code that, and just to maybe touch upon a little bit, Python is a programming language. It's a very, I would say, more than other languages, this is the most human-friendly programming language, because the way you write Python code, it's almost like it's just talking to a computer. It's very, very straightforward. So even when you want to code with AI, asking it to write Python code is a better suggestion, because it is also very easy for AI to write Python code and even run it. So this is what I did, right? So this is what I went ahead. I said, hey, now I want you to help me in writing a Python code that will process that entire data file, that entire 250 MB Excel file, contain the complete mapping of the code, the numeric codes that we just got, so that it replaces the corresponding labels and it only retains the information that we need. And what we also want to do was that, since we want to focus our research on women participation in the economic or in the labor force, so I also said that, hey, let's only keep, because we have the sex as a variable here. So I just said that let's just keep that. Let's not create. Let's only keep the number 2 data. Let's remove the male and transgender data, because that is not needed for our analysis. So that already cuts down, let's do 2 lakh entries to a certain number, right? So this is what I did, and see what it did. It wrote a Python script, right? It wrote a complete Python script. It even wrote the command on how will it load the data, what are the different mappings. You can see it defined the mappings as well. It also said that replace these mappings with the actual data, right? And then it even tells me how do I run this. So let's say, and this is where comes the second part. So if it generates a Python code for you, maybe your question would be that I don't know how to run Python. So this is where you can even cross question it, that can you help me? Let's say if you're using a Windows machine, I'm using a Mac. So you can tell, hey, I'm using a Windows machine. Can you actually walk me step by step on how can I run this or execute this Python script, right? So that is also an easier way. Like I don't know how to use terminal. I don't know how to use command prompt, all those things that might feel very complicated. Then let it help you. And wherever you get stuck, if you get an error, just share the screenshot of the error, or just copy the error, share it with GPT again, ask it, can you help me solve this? And it will get you there. So you don't have to always know how to run this. You can literally just use the help, but that should not stop you from actually asking it to write Python codes for you, because that's, you see the time it would have taken to manually do this would have been maybe hours. And if you can do that in 5 minutes, then of course save that time, right? It's a lot of precious time that you have. And this is where, like I said, you can even if it generates a Python script, you can open a new chat, just paste the Python script, say, hey, can you provide me step-by-step instructions? Can you tell me maybe if I need to install some packages, or maybe what should the command look like? So I can just copy paste and start getting to run it. And it will give you instructions as well. So based on my follow through, it did generate the code for me. after it generated the code, I did see that some variables were missing. So I went back and forth to add those remaining variables as well and those numeric codes. So always a good thing to check when AI generates the results, that so you understand that, because I can see now what all variables it has included. I feel like maybe some variables are not included, then please include them. Right? Sometimes if AI is trying to be lazy here, see that it said that, okay, it's state mapping, then it says, okay, add all states as per the instruction manual. So it is asking me that I should add the remaining states or I should add the remaining districts. So I went ahead and I said that, don't do that, actually add everything yourself. So now you can see it added yourself. Sometimes AI is also like humans, right? It can be lazy. So if it becomes lazy or if it doesn't respond completely to your request, it asks you, you can always go back, say, no, I want you to help me completely. Don't hold back. Give me the complete data. All those things you can go back, right? And say. So now once the code is generated, right? So let's say this code is generated, I can just copy the code. And this is a Python file, right? So what I would essentially do, and I have the file open here for you to review. Just a second. Yeah. So you can see that I have, what you would want to do is you want to create a new folder. Let's say you would create a new folder. Let me set that up. You would create a new folder, let's say PLFS code. I would create a new file here. Now you could create a new file through whatever if you have Notepad in your Windows, you should use Notepad, or like any other editor, if you have, just use that. Just copy the code and save that as a Python file, because it is a .python file. So we save it as a .py file. So I've already done that here, and I'll show you the file itself. So now you can see that within my H folder, I have something called clean./copy.py file, right? So this is the exact code from there. I'll open it and show you as well. You can see the code here now. This is the same code. I just copied the code, saved the code as, copy.py file. And now I know, and I also need to know where I stored it. That's why I said create a new folder so you know the path, because you will have to tell the code, right? This is where I have stored my file. So now let's see the code once. This is the file path. This is where I have my main data set, right? So the first step the code will do is it will load that big 250 MB Excel file. So you can see that this is my Excel. This is my file, PLFS 2021, and I know where I have stored it. A very easy way to find your file path is if you just right click the file and go to properties, it will give you the path. So because AI doesn't know where you have stored the file in your system, this is the only thing that you will have to replace. Rest everything the code already has, right? You can see all the mappings, everything is already there. We have also done I also asked AI to only retain columns that are relevant. So if there were 99 columns, we are only keeping these columns, nothing else. We're removing everything else that is not relevant, right? We are also adding some filters that we only want female population. We only want age between 15 and 59 because that is your working population. And we only want data where usual principal, where employment data is available. If employment data is blank, we don't want that data. So these are some of the filters that, again, we asked AI and AI has already added in the code. So once it filters out the code, it will, once it replaces the numeric, variables, it will also do this filter. And that is how your final data will look like. So I just want to maybe run this and show you how this will work and what it will give you access to. Something that I did additionally also was there was a lot of NIC and NCO codes. If you go online on Google, you can download the list of NIC NCO codes, right? So I also asked it to map those NIC NCO codes. So I stored the codes separately. I will share that with you as well. So you can see I created 2 Excel files with the NCO and NIC codes. You can see the code, you can see the title. So I even asked AI that, hey, I have now these 2 NCO and NIC codes. Can you, in the same script, can you customize and also fetch? Because it might be too difficult to pass, let's say, so many codes directly in your code. So that's why I saved them separately. And I asked it to fetch these data from these files and directly replace in the extracted data we want to create. Because we can't, put all codes in this, because if NIC code comes in, you can imagine this will become like maybe 10 pages of lines, and that might be too complicated to handle here. So this is what I did. Now what I do next is I run my because I use Mac, we have a terminal. If you use Windows, you will have a command prompt. The first thing you would want to do is you would want to go to the directory to where your file is located. By default, it is always on your desktop. It is always, when you open a command prompt, it is directing to your desktop. This is what it's doing in my case. In my case, I have a folder called, like I can show you. I have a folder called H here within my Saksham desktop, right? So I have something called H here. So I will just redirect it that, hey, look at the folder H, that now it is pointing to the folder H. Now I will say that I want to run. So I'll just write the command, and these commands again GPT will give you. So I'll just say Python 3 clean underscore copy the file name .py. That would mean that, hey, now it knows that this is the file it needs to run. So the moment I hit enter, we'll see what it does, right? So it started the analysis. It analyzed the missing values first. It printed also that I have analyzed these things. What are the values available? It ended up filtering out 27. So out of 8,48,000 records, only 22,74,000 records were kept. Those were the filters we had applied, right? So only 32% data was actually applicable. It processed that and it shows me I have saved this file as process data.csv. So now this is my file. It just generated 1028, right? So see, it's done. That is all it took. It took me what, maybe 5 seconds, not even 5 seconds. And voila, like I want to show you the magic, right? This is your magic. Now, the same file that we had before, now look at how this looks like. I know exactly my quarters, I know sector, I know my states, I know my household types. All those coded values that were coded have become readable now. Sorry, I just tried to expand the columns. It's a little slow. Yeah. So you can see social group, religion, everything that was coded now has been uncoded. It is completely easy and readable, right? Whether it's household, whether it's religion, whether it's social group, marital status, general education, technical education, vocational education, my principal activity, my employment activity, the NIC NCO codes, you see everything it has taken. And now this data, when I look at, it is so much more easier for me to, read this and understand it than what I had before. So already maybe what in 20, we have been sitting for 29 minutes, but we have already cleaned everything. The data is entirely readable and you have a much better data set now to work with, right? So any questions so far on this? Anything that might was a little complicated that you couldn't understand?
Yeah, this is actually very fine, very nicely you have actually explained.
Yeah.
So for this, we need to learn the Python.
That's what I'm saying. You don't need to learn Python. That is where I differ. I also don't know how to use Python. I just wrote 2 very simple commands is what I'm trying to show you. It is not that difficult, right? I just wrote run, and these commands you can easily ask GPT to give you. That's it. So you don't need to learn Python. You just need to know how to run the command in your system, which is not very complicated. You can ask it to say that, hey, can you help me step by step in how do I run this script on my Windows, right? If you have a Windows, or on your Mac, if you have a Mac system, whatever system you may have, and it will step by step tell you. Yeah. So sorry, you were saying something?
The data cleaning for one of the data sets I was having. So he using this Jupyter platform, this Python codes.
Yes.
So there actually I find that is not also very difficult. Even if we very basics, we can also do this.
Correct. Exactly. It's not difficult. So even in Jupyter is just it's basically a visual, code editor or IDE we call it. So I was doing it in a simple way directly by running it as the file. But if you have Jupyter, you can also just copy the code to Jupyter and run it from there. it's equally similar. So should not be a problem anyways. Yes. But like I said, don't feel like you can always ask AI itself to help you in running these scripts and codes, but it does save a lot of time, right? And the next thing that I want to cover now is, now we have a data set, but how do we visualize this data? How do we make it easy for us to analyze this, right? So that is where I want to share something called Streamlit. Now, Streamlit is a very open source Python framework, and this is actually built not for coders, but it is built for data scientists, or even, even social sector background people like you, to make it easy for you to visualize or build data apps, interactive data apps, just with a very few lines of code. And the good part is, again, that you can write those few lines of code with using AI. You don't have to write those lines of code yourself. And the best part about Streamlit is that, you don't need to write, let's say, a separate front end, separate back end, things like that. You don't have to get it so complicated. This is very easy to run. Right? It is, you can use it to literally even 5 minutes build a dashboard, visualize it. Even if you were using, let's say, Tableau, Power BI, or like, ClickSense, ClickView, if you have used those before, it takes a lot of time to set them up. I have to clean the data, I have to upload the data there, I have to build, like, even if it's drag and drop, I still have to visualize my charts, I have to connect the data there, I have to, plug everything together. Still a lot of work. This one, very easy, right? It is, you just need to be able to describe what you are looking for, and it supports a variety of charts, things inside the Streamlit. So everything is very um, simplified, let's say, to use. Now, what do I do next, right? So now I have my data set. Like I said, I have my clean Python code, my data is clean. Now we need visualizations, right? So I said, hey, I have my clean data, I want some visualizations. Can you help me even decide which visualizations to use? So it gave me some suggestions that maybe based on the data we have, these are, again, this could be you, this could be AI. You could ask AI for suggestions, but since I'm not from social sector background, I took its suggestions and went ahead. I did not do a lot of modifications to that. But in your case, you exactly would know what you would want, right? So in my case, I just said that, okay, I want your help to do everything. I wanted to start by writing the Python code. How do I run Streamlit? And this is where the knowledge comes in. Why I'm trying to tell you Streamlit is that maybe by AI might not, if you just ask it to visualize, it will give you a maybe more complicated solution, like build a Power BI dashboard yourself. But that is why, where I said that, hey, I specifically want to use Streamlit to run the code and show the visualizations. So maybe when you are doing that, ask it specifically, right? Can you help me write the Python code to run this in Streamlit and show my visualization? And these are the visualizations that I want you to include, right? So it will give you the command, right? How do I set up Streamlit? How do I run the Streamlit code? So that it gave me the entire code to run this in Streamlit. And again, what I will do is I'll copy, either you create in the Jupyter notebook, you create a new file, you paste it there and run it, or you can again open a TXT file, save it as, as a Python file by adding .py extension. Once it is saved, again, we do the same thing, we just run it. So you can see it wrote the code entirely, how it wants to run, what kind of charts it wants to plot. So you can see it has said bar chart, education employment chart, things like this. Then I went a little back and forth because I wanted to, add more charts to this, add more analysis to this. Right. So I went a little back and forth. I added a lot more charts, a lot more things to the file. And at the end, I came out with something which looked like this. I'll show you. This is the code that it gave me in the end, where now I have a lot of charts, visualization that I have included, total state-wise employable distribution, sector, rural, urban, education level distribution. So it, based on my inputs, it created all those charts that I would want to have in the code. Even some further charts, whatever I wanted, I wanted to compare two different types of data. I asked all with AI, it wrote the code. That is the entire code it has written. This is all written by AI. I just pasted it as main/copy.py. Now the same thing I'll do again is I would want to run this code, right? So I'll go back to my terminal the same way. This time I'll again try to see where I have saved the file. So this time I have saved the file in project folder. So I will again go to my project folder. So I'm in the project folder. And for Streamlit, the simple command now instead of Python, it's Streamlit run. And I will just use the name of the file. Again, these commands, don't worry about it. I know the commands because I've done this before, but you can just find these commands, GPT will give you all these commands there directly. So you can just copy and, run them there. So I hit enter. Now you see it opens this nice visual. It is asking me, can you upload the processed file to begin? Because it needs the process file to visualize. So this is the process file we just generated. I will upload that. I'll just drag, drop and upload. It's got uploaded, you can see. Now, based on the uploaded file, it created this entire dashboard. So now you can see that I have some filters. I can filter my data if I want specific filters by state, education level, year, religion, social group. And based on my filter, my data at the bottom will switch or will automatically change. So this is all interactive dashboards, right? So it then starts plotting what is the state-wise distribution of individual, broad things, nothing very specific, but these are all broad. What is the rural urban distribution amongst the selected focus group that we have? Again, our focus group is working women, right? From 15 to 59 age group, who are in the employment sector. So who are actually working, who are not. So this is what we are looking at, where what is their education level breakdown, impact of general education. So based on their education level, what kind of different work activities are they incorporating in? So you can see it has plot that chart already. And this is all the interactive. I want to zoom in and see some specific only, let's say middle, what is happening. So I can see that, hey, within people who are only attended domestic duty, who have done middle education are 26,000, for example. So I can see these values. You can switch off, switch on something if you don't want. All these charts are very interactive. I'll double click to go back. Now this is again because it's plot all the industries. If I just want to focus on maybe specific industry, I'll do that. So you can see the highest has been inorganic farming of non-basmati rice. A lot of people have been doing that kind of activity. What are the top 10 industries with the most employment? This is there. Occupation-wise employment. So I plot a lot of charts with it based on overall to understand the data. We can add, like I said, the filters are above. You can filter anything and see. But now this all, let's say if you can do in 30-40 minutes, you can spend some actual time thinking about what kind of charts you would need and maybe focus more on that rather than thinking about how to write that Python code, right? So that's what I'm saying. Don't focus that I don't know how to do this or I am, handicapped by technology. That is no longer the case with AI. If you know exactly what you're looking at, this could be a very good research that you can come up with in a very short span of time. You just need to be able to visualize and think. So spend more time in thinking your end result, thinking how you would want the analysis to look like, what are the factors that you should use in analyzing the data. If you concentrate more on that part and describe GPT, then let GPT do the rest of the part. Then let GPT do the hard labor of cleaning the data as per your requirements, of creating the code to plot these visualizations as per your requirement. And even hosting something, this is very easy. Even Streamlit, you have the options of directly hosting this and it will become on, let's say, your own site and you can share this. So all of this, maybe another 30 minutes and it's also hosted in live. Then you can share this research with the rest of the world, right? That, hey, I have created this research. This is now publicly available and accessible. Right now, it's only running on my own system, but you can even make this accessible online. It's not, again, if you need help, you can ask GPT on how can I publish this research, for example. So you can see a lot of things, a lot of charts have already been plotted and everything is visible, accessible and available, right? Any questions on this?
Yes,
Please?
we have one question in chat box from Bhadresh.
Okay.
He's asking like Streamlit, it's completely free or it is paid?
It is completely free. It's an open source library.
And sir, he's asking, can we done all this in Google Sheets?
You could do, but like the thing is, Google Sheets, you would find it difficult to. First of all, Google Sheets is not open source, so it's proprietary. I will have to run this on Google. ChatGPT or GPT might not work so well with Google to do this kind of cleaning. So if you want to do this level of cleaning, no, I don't think so. Google Sheet can be used. You will have to use maybe a CSV file in Excel, and you can, I mean, you can do this just to visual. When I run this command using Python, Python doesn't need a Google Sheet or an Excel to run this. It will run this directly using the code and directly fetching and analyzing the data. Now, it generates that process data CSV file. Now that CSV file you can open on Google Sheet, you can open on Excel. That is up to you. That is no problem. Even Stringlet doesn't use anything. If you were doing this kind of visualizations in Google Sheets, you could do them, but then again, you will have to create those charts manually. You will have to create those pivots manually. You will have to say, okay, for this data range to this data range, this is my title, this is my, you know, x-axis, this is my y-axis, these are my variables, this is my legend. Now you can see here, it did all of that on its own, right? I did not have to tell it a lot of those facts. And these are interactive charts. You might not even get this level of interactability if you run this on, let's say, Google Sheets. Everything is interactive. I can click, and the best part, all these pivots, you can do it, but this is a lot more effort. So I feel like this could be simpler to do it here and share. It's a more advanced library on its own. It has also done some prediction, but I'm not sure this is very accurate because the data is not, it has slightly skewed. We are only targeting employment, people who are employed. So predictions might not be great because as you can see, they're all one. So it's not really good at predicting because our data is skewed, but it was able to even run machine learning within this to actually do predictions. But given that the data has to be more, we already reduced a lot of data sets, so it didn't contain a lot of values to even run its prediction. But yes, any other questions? Sorry.
Bhadresh, do you have any question? No, sir. Please continue.
Okay. So I don't know, anyone has ever, if anyone wants to share maybe what they have done in the past when they were trying to visualize a big data like this or trying to create a dashboard. If you have any experience that you would like to share before, maybe how now that you think with this, how would you think you would try and maybe cut your time? This just an open experience sharing.
Maybe I'll be looking forward to see this NFHS data. That is also like PLFS data, NFHS data is also there, which is basically provided by MOPSI. So I think that data set we can also do the analysis. Maybe I will be, while actually doing that one, I can use those techniques which you have explained very nicely.
Yes,
Thank you for.
Yeah, thanks, Roger. I think just try using Streamlit with that for the thing, or even like with Python, might really help you out. Like I said, yeah, great to hear from that. And if you ever, I'll share my contact at the end of the session. So if anyone has any questions in the future, also just feel free to reach out to me. If you get stuck anywhere, I'll be happy to help. Anyone else wants
My
to like
request
to share?
is maybe this recorded session.
Yes. Yes, I think this is a recorded session, right, Shweta?
Yes, it's also live on YouTube.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to share? I see some new people have also joined since the last time I checked in. Okay. Then I'll like to move forward. No one else to share. Let me go back. I'll also share these slides later on. So maybe Shweta, you can send them across to participants. Might be helpful for them. All the steps that I did discuss are actually covered, but I just went ahead and showed you directly because I think that's more useful. It also contains the prompts that you could write to generate, the Streamlit dashboards or to write the Python code. So all those things are included, and this is the workflow we did, right? We cleaned the data, we launched the dashboard, and then we had the entire exploration for ourselves. So the next thing that I want to cover is how can we use AI to create a website for ourselves? And why I have a nice small visualization here, that maybe if your profile currently looks like this as your CV and versus what you see on the right side. So I want to show how we can in the 20 minutes go from this left side to the right side. Right, the way where we our website actually looks very professional, and I'll also show how we can host it for free, and create your own website. So actually this can help you and bridge the gap where a lot of us feel that, hey, it's too much effort, or maybe it's costly, I need to buy a server, I need to pay like maybe 5,000 to get a server, all of that. Or even if you need a domain, but you could even use a generic domain and host it everything for free. So this is what I want to cover here. I do feel that a lot of researchers or authors who have websites, of course, it's easier to show your citations, your papers, your publications, easy to share it with maybe funding agencies, or even for more collaboration. If you put your research online, people can read that, come to you, and look for collaboration. So this could really help you showcase what you're doing and find people to work with. So what are some of the traditional barriers? Like I said, maybe you need to hire a developer, you need some skills like HTML, CSS, you don't know how to host it, or how do you then update once the website is live? How do you constantly update the website to keep it maintained? A lot of such questions might appear. Nowadays, there are a lot of tools, like WordPress has been available for a long time. I think there is a lot of other tools also, but they are also sometimes paid. So I will show you a very easy, quick way where you have to pay nothing. Everything is freely accessible to use. So you can go for those platforms also. That's up to you. But let's see how we can maybe run something and set up a website for free. So my idea is that, hey, your research deserves a digital home. You need a place to show it. So what we'll do today is we'll take an example. We'll take Dr. Maya Sharma. So she is a AI profile that I have created. So for us to sort of walk through and see how we can build her a nice professional website, right? What I want to use for this is a tool that I recently discovered actually called DeepSight AI. This is freely available. I can share the link as well, or you can have it from here. You can open the site. You can just describe what you're looking at. Just a couple of pointers here. You could technically also use ChatGPT or Gemini to create a HTML website for you. But I just felt that this one was doing a much better job in terms of the colors, the interactiveness, because sometimes GPTs, they are not as good in terms of how they are designing a professionally very nice looking website, versus this DeepSight was actually doing a very good job. This is specifically trained like an agent to just create websites, right? So and it's completely free to use. So feel free to use it later to try yourself. So the approach that I'm suggesting today is that we'll first use DeepSight. We'll give it some prompt that, hey, this is what we are looking for, and then we'll proceed from there. This is also image generated from Gemini Banana model. This is our example, Dr. Maya Sharma. So how do we, just some insights about her that I put across. We have used that PLFS dataset. We have said that she has done some extensive research in that area. She has published some publications. She's affiliated by Delhi School of Economics. For her website, we need a professional academic presence. We need to showcase her research projects. We need to maybe showcase some of the data visualization that she have done across her papers to give some more credibility to her, to her website, to her research. We need to make some of her publications available to be downloaded maybe. And this is what our goals are for our website, right? So just good to have some broad outline of what you're looking for in your website before you begin, right? So that is something that I would suggest everyone to think about. What we'll create live, these are some of the sections we want in our website. We want the homepage, we want space for the projects, we want a space for publications, we want a space for showing some of the data visualizations, we want a section for about her CV, about her profile. We want a space for a contact section where anyone can come in, ask, maybe, message her or request her for something. So the focus is how do we write the prompt? That is the first thing, right? We need this website. How do we write an effective prompt for AI to understand that, hey, this is the website we are looking for to designing. So what are some of the effective strategies for a good prompt here is context, right? Who you are, what is your field, who's your audience, why do you need a website, who will be visiting, what do you want to showcase, so what kind of specific content do you want on the website, what is some design preference do you have, maybe if you have a reference website that you have seen, can you include the link of the website, or can you just share some of the design cues that you really like, that hey, this is how it was structured, I want it to be more image heavy, I want it to be more text heavy, or I want it to be very less minimal text, everything very minimal, bold colors, or I want, softer colors, things like that. How do you want design to look like? What kind of interactive functionality do you want? Some buttons? Do you want people to click, go somewhere? Do you want this to be a single page website? Do you want them to go to different sections in the website? There could be a lot of thought process. So as specific you can be and so that's why a good idea is for you to first look at some existing websites, to take some notes of what you like, what you dislike, write everything down, or maybe even scribble down on a piece of paper, and then use all of that information to write your prompt. So this is who I am, this is what I'm looking for, this is the kind of style of website I'm looking at. Use all that thought process and structure a good prompt. So because that is you telling the AI, hey, this is my ask. So it is able to curate and create something which is very close to what your ask is. So in this case, I have written a prompt already that, hey, create a professional website for Dr. Maya. This is the website structure. There's going to be like a hero top section with a professional introduction. There'll be some research highlights. There'll be publications. This is my design aesthetic. I want standard professional aesthetic. I want some blue-white color scheme. I want it to be mobile responsive also, because I want people to be able to open this on the phone. I want very clean typography, subtle animations, nothing too heavy. Some content elements I have given, like a headline, tagline, SWOT functionality. So these are certain ideas you can add on to them. You can be more specific. This is still very general. I have not given any content or anything. I've just made it very general, right? That this is what I am looking for. So I would suggest to be even more specific. Don't just keep it very general. Be more specific, exactly what you want. You can even upload some data, your CV or your profile, and so that it fetches. But good ideas would be to only share the information you actually want to represent in the website. Because if you maybe put too much garbage, you will try to adjust that. Might be that you don't want to show everything also on the website. So it's a call you need to take. What you want to share and what you actually want to be displayed on the website. So now let's start, and I want to show you how we can do this quickly. So moving on, I have something open already. This is DeepSight, right? I'm on DeepSight now. Anyone has? I think anyone was speaking. If you have any question, please. Yeah.
So can we take a break for 15 minutes?
Yes, please. Sure. We can
So
start.
participants, please join us at 11:15 again.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
No issues.